Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is July 8th, 2024. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage World War III between the United States slash NATO and the Russian Federation during the dates of July 9th through 11th, which is the date of the Nato summit in Washington, D.C. I'm going to outline the possible scenarios by which the United States and or NATO will trigger World War III with Russia during this historic summit in Washington, D.C. But first, the most likely scenario for this NATO conference is that NATO unanimously or ununanimously approves Ukraine into NATO, basically approves their application, which was submitted a few months ago, basically to trigger World War III with Russia. Russia, namely Vladimir Putin and other top Russian officials, have stated that if NATO is accepted into Ukraine, it will cross the quote-unquote red line, basically triggering World War III. That being said, there is a high likelihood that the CIA is going to stage some sort of false flag Russian terror attack or missile strike targeting Ukraine and or other NATO nations in Europe, specifically to trigger World War III. In order to provide a timely motive for a Russian revenge attack, the CIA has hit the Black Sea, the Russian naval fleet headquarters on the Black Sea with a Shadow Storm missile strike back on September 22nd of 2023. More recently, the CIA staged a Ukrainian cluster bomb attack, which was with U.S. munitions targeting Russian tourists on the Black Sea last month. So basically, the CIA has set up Russia to take the fall for a false flag Russian terror attack or Russia-backed Islamic terror attack in Europe and or the United States, as well as staging a retaliatory missile strike. Just yesterday, they staged a missile strike targeting a school or a hospital, a children's hospital in Ukraine. So something in this particular scenario is expected. There's NATO bases all across Europe, so one or more of them may come under attack during this NATO conference in Washington, D.C. to provide a timely motive for Russia's or Ukraine's acceptance into NATO and or a declaration of war against NATO or by NATO against Russia. So just to recap, NATO conference July 9th through 11th, Washington, D.C., and one of two things is expected to happen. Ukraine's acceptance into NATO to trigger World War III with Russia, or a false flag Russia-backed terror attack, or false flag Russian missile strikes, most likely courtesy of NATO, targeting Ukraine and or other NATO nations, possibly Sweden, which was the latest country to be accepted into NATO, also Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Ukraine, and Germany, Poland. Those are the most likely countries to suffer some sort of false flag Russian-backed terror attack or Russian missile strike. So obviously praying for a peaceful next few days as the world's focus is on Washington, D.C. Last but not least, it's highly likely that the CIA will use this summit in Washington, D.C. to further delegitimize the Biden presidency as pretext for Joe Biden's assassination, resignation, or death event or medical-related event, which basically spawns the Kamala Harris presidency. So anyways, as I do in all these videos, if any of the aforementioned events come to fruition, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, federal, and state law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.